प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम्
Nityanandam, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time since I've uploaded any videos on YouTube, and I thought, okay, let me actually it's not a lack of experiences. There's been so many spiritual experiences, so there's a lot that's been going on in the past few months. I just haven't made the time to completely record, sit and make it available in a shared way for people to enjoy. So, well, I'll start with the one experience that I've had recently, and it is a mystical experience. So I thought, yes, let me make the time now and put it on record and share it with all of you. So in the past couple of months, I'd had an opportunity to visit the Toronto temple, Toronto Nityanandeshwara temple in Canada. And I didn't know what to expect, and what I was given as a gift from the temple, the beautiful mystical gifts. I can't put words to what it is that I experienced. I'm going to have a go now, especially when it comes to connecting with deities and the whole superconscious space. How does one put it into words? So I'm going to have a go in this video to do my best as authentically as possible and share some of the glimpses of experiences that I've had. I'll do my best to see if I can leave you with a tangible connection close to what I experienced. So me and deities, in terms of a search for something bigger, where do I come from, what does it all mean, who am I, who is God? All of these questions have played on my mind from a very young age. I'm born a Hindu, so I was brought up in India. I was born in India also, and I was brought up in India for many years of my life. And I remember asking my mom, so where is God? Where does God live? And we had a balcony in our family home, and we stood on the balcony, and she pointed at a cloud far in the sky, and she said, behind that cloud is where God is. And I sincerely believe that. I sincerely believe that that's where God was. So I used to go back to find that cloud anytime I wanted to pray, and I wanted something from God. I would pray looking towards the sky, up in the open, and searching for that one particular cloud, and visualizing that Mahadeva actually with Parvati was sitting behind that cloud somewhere, and I was able to connect somehow with that whole happening. Any case, fast forwarding back to Toronto temple, and how do these two relate? So what happened in Toronto for me is I got to be very up close with deities in the temple, and I had the freedom to be able to go into the temple whenever I wanted to and connect with the deities however I wanted to. I realized initially I was very awkward. It felt very awkward for me to be around them, and there was this part of me that was like, okay, they don't move, they don't speak, so how do I relate with something that doesn't move and doesn't speak, and they're supposed to be divine, so how do I begin to connect? And I noticed that Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, I was very, very comfortable with, because I have him at home and I've connected, and I have this playful relationship. So I just managed to connect with Ganesha pretty much straight away. But even then, it was like there seemed to be this awkwardness of like they're better, or I'm less than kind of feeling. And I decided, okay, so I decided to play with the truth. Swamiji said, the deities in all the Nityanandeshwara temples that have prana pratishtha done, where they've had the infusion of superconsciousness into, actually superconscious energy brought into the deities and installed, established in them, then they are alive. They are independent intelligence and they're alive. So I decided to internalize that and to play with that and see what happens. So I thought, okay, so as they're alive, I will be able to connect with them and they can hear me. And apparently, any prayer that happens in their space is simply answered. So I just decided that I'm going to drop the awkwardness from my side and connect with them. And the journey just became very interesting and full of wonderful mystical things that happened through the day for me. So I would get revelations from Venkateshwara. I would get Ma Meenakshi would just simply complete me so deeply that the connection between me and my mom got healed. The connection between me and my dad got healed, and completion happened for us. I was able to connect with all the Nayanars that are installed in the Toronto temple. And initially, I would kind of go past them, but not really pay much attention. And I managed to connect with them. So all these beautiful things started to happen. But what I really wanted to share in this video was that, see, one thing is that through the time, I even forgot that Toronto temple was given the spiritual name Kailash by Swamiji. And it took me a while to realize that I was in Kailash. And on my last day, when I was connecting with all the deities, I remember feeling that I was behind the cloud that my mom had showed me when I was very little. I was actually standing behind, like in the cloud, if you like, but I was seeing behind the scene where all the deities are, and they were relating back to me. And I was really, for the first time, meeting Godel as I had been searching all of that time. So that's a beautiful click that happened for me there. But there's more to come. So of course, my trip was really fruitful, and I got so many gifts, so many that I didn't even expect. Then, and of course, after I said all my goodbyes, it is time for me to leave. I was on the flight back from Toronto to London. This is what I really wanted to share in this video. That's why I'm fast forwarding, and there's many experiences that I could expand on. But for today's video, I'm going to share what happened on the flight, which is a real tangible experience. So, which I think you also will be able to relate to. So on the way back, my flight, I was actually quite, I hadn't slept much, so I was ready for a little bit of rest, even though it was daytime. I was ready for a bit of rest, and I happened to get a really good seat, which was right next to the window, and it was on the right side, so I could put a pillow and just rest on the plane, the wall of the plane by the window. And so I rested for quite a bit of time, and then I slowly came to and had some water and food, etc. And after a while, after a short time, after everything was cleared, the plane started to go into turbulence. And as usual, for me, the fear of falling at such a great height is very real. It was very real for me, and I could feel the sense of panic happening inside of me, and of course it wasn't pleasant. I was like, okay, so is this the end? This silly thought, having watched all these silly movies where plane crashes happen, of course the worst scenario is the first thing that pops into the head. So anyway, whilst all of this is going on inside of me and the turbulence was quite bad, I had a thought. My safety is your responsibility, Swamiji, is the thought that happened in me. And then the pilot of the flight started to make announcements, and there was that ping, 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 the seatbelt on sign. It was getting a little urgent and a little panic filled in the air. And the pilot had said, for the next 15 to 20 minutes, please expect a rough ride. The good news is that we are going to use this to get there earlier. And really, I was thinking, okay, I don't know how you're packaging this as good news, but it's not. I am panicking inside. So there was there's a whole heap of things going on for me at that time, to be honest. One side of me was like, okay, whatever happens, I know Swamiji has initiated me, and he has prepared me in an enough way to be able to face this all consciously. I don't need to become unconscious. I don't need to panic. All of that one side. And the other side was, of course, the natural fear that arises inside. But the decision to face it was definitely also there. In any case, all the air hostesses returned back to their flight and to their seats, and this, it started to get a little rough. And as soon as the announcement was made, Nityanandeshwara and Nityanandeshwari of Toronto Temple filled my inner space. I had my eyes closed at that time, and they just filled my inner space. And the second that happened, the whole flight just calmed down straight away. Straight away. And this is after it has started to get a little rough, with the pilot telling us that it's going to be rough for the next 15 to 20 minutes. The flight just calmed down straight away, and it was like light feather, just floating through thin air. It was that smooth. And so much realization happened for me that actually the whole journey, even from where I am consciously to death, that need not be scary, turbulent. It can be as light as a feather floating through air. And it can be, because of Swamiji's presence, it can be like a hot knife through butter. I remember him sharing this in the Living Enlightenment book, where his presence alone, just him being there, actually makes that whole experience happen for an individual, whether they are consciously aware of it or not. Just his presence liberates. And I had that experience on the flight, where his remembrance, just remembering him, actually made the whole journey very, very simple. And it brought me confidence more on the words that he's been sharing with me, and the experiences that he is saying he can make available for us when it comes to superconscious breakthroughs. So for those of you who are new and don't know who Swamiji is that I'm referring to, his Murti is right behind me. The Swamiji, His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda. He's my guru, and he has been, I would say he's been sharing, but I have been doing my best to entangle with the wonderful truths that he's sharing from Vedagamas, and making them as real, available as real experiences for everybody. So these experiences were available. I just wanted to share that very quickly with you. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please post them in the comments box, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Nityanandam.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम्